and welcome to another episode of the CEO Peak. And today I'm actually welcoming Stuart McLeod, the CEO of Karbon. Hello, Stuart.
David, how are you?
I'm great. And I have a phone call with Stuart before the interview, and after reading his profile, I was fascinated of the move that he had from Australia to the United States and starting a company enterprise from scratch here. It's not easy to be an entrepreneur in your own country, nevertheless in the country that you moved just a few years back. And prior to that, he was the vice president in North America for Xero.
Yes.
Yeah, which I am a client of Xero. So welcome, Stuart, and I really appreciate the time that you took of your day to share your wisdom with us.
David, thanks for having us.
And by the way, the photo behind me is Sausalito because the office is in Sausalito, so lucky you.
We sold a company in Australia in 2011 to Xero, and that started a wonderful journey that we had with that company over around 3 years. About halfway through that period, we worked with Rod and others at Xero to move the family to San Francisco and help the US office along the way. And that was a fantastic time in our lives, and we learned an enormous amount. And at the end of that period, we decided to get the band back together a little bit and work with my old co-founder that we had done originally in Melbourne and Canberra in Australia, and start a company here in San Francisco together to capitalise on the knowledge that we'd learnt through the years working with accountants.
And here, what I was fascinated with, that you actually started already as an international company from day one.
Definitely. We operate in about 12, 15 different markets now already, but we've got offices in 3 different countries, and we're reasonably distributed already. We never wanted a centralised decision-making system. We wanted people in different countries to be able to, elevate the product and the experience best that they sought to do for that particular market. And that's worked really well. Karbon's about making sure that accountants in all over the world have the tools and the practice software that they need to elevate their business beyond what they can do today. That's our real goal, in that making sure that accountants have everything that they need to be as efficient, productive, and grow, and be interesting, create a great culture, hire and develop new talent, all those things that accountants need in order to build a great practice and potentially sell it and service their clients.
Yeah.
So that's our focus. We have a very industry-focused product, and we love looking after that industry. My first job actually was at Oracle, so enormous organisation and one that had a very particular culture of its own. And I've done worked in startups, and obviously moving with Xero through its growth period was some amazing lessons. So one of the particular ones that sort of suit me is, I'm quite internally focused with my strategy and the way that I operate. I make sure that we're developing talent internally. I'm making sure that our operations and our procedures are very well implemented and documented in order to lay the platforms for growth.
I see.
To have those cultural foundations as you go through, 50, 100, 500, 1,000 perhaps employees, is so key. And that's something that we've been focused on a lot lately. We think we've got a very strong vision that we can rally around and really make a deep impact over our lifetime. And that to me is the most important thing, that the people that we gather in the organisation believe in that and can really as I say, rally around and also believe in making that deep impact in our industry. The behaviours that might exemplify that, making sure that we've implemented OKRs across the organisation, and that gives us a real roadmap or track, if you like, towards the pragmatic implementations of that vision.
Well, when I walk around the office, I saw this screen there and this kind of analytics, and it's pretty cool because usually I used to have it in my company, in my previous company, in the customer service, but that's kind of for even your developers, right, can see. So is it your analytics, your customers?
Yeah, so that screen is our sales and our progress towards target. And to me, everybody in the organisation contributes to to the progress towards that target every quarter. Whether you're developers or marketing or on the front line in sales, you've got an absolute responsibility to sort of affect that output. Big believer in being very open, very transparent about where we're up to and how we're going, and the quarterly progress towards goal, definitely. For me, I'm a big believer in technology. We've spent a lot of investment, both in time and money, in inputting or putting in place a stack that will see us grow through $10 million, $100 million of revenue. And to me, that long-term thinking is where you don't have to invest time and again in changing billing and CRM and finance and all those kinds of things. Hopefully that we expect that will pay us off in spades over the next couple of years. There's people that I've worked with that I've learned a lot from over the years. People that operate with integrity and trust in their team, and really operate from bottom up and let their team blossom. Let their develop talent internally. Those values are very important to us in our organisation, and make sure that we're. I believe that if you look after your staff and your employees, that your customers and your market is going to get looked after perhaps even better. Some of the Jim Collins books are probably the ones that have had the most impact on me, and I go back to them often, and if I see us sort of perhaps getting off track, there's always some kind of anecdote or example in there that you'll be able to implement or talk about that helps you get you back on track.
Yeah, I thank you so much for your time, Stuart. I really appreciate all your what you contributed to this show. And guys, if you take only one thing out of this interview, you just like how to align all your functions around real-time analytics of the whole performance of the company. And thank you for giving us this nugget today,
David, thanks so much for having me.